Good evening. This is the Ogden City Council meeting for February 7th, 2012. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present. And now we will have the Pledge of Allegiance conducted by Vice Chair Blair.
Please rise. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
My mouth is stuck together. Thank you. We'll now have a moment of silence. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes. First, we have the minutes of the closed executive session of September 27th, 2011. Councilmember Stevens.
Yes, Mr. Chair, they're correct.
And the minutes of the joint work session of October 6, 2011. Councilmember Gochner.
Yes, I have reviewed those and found them to be correct.
And the minutes of the closed executive session of December 20th, 2011. Councilmember Van Heuser.
Chair Garner, these minutes are correct, and I move that we approve all the previous minutes presented.
Second it.
Have a motion from Councilmember Van Heuser and a second from Councilmember Stevens to approve these minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next is items of common consent, carbon monoxide ordinance, budget opening, and carry forward budget adjustments.
I would make a motion that we approve the items of common consent A, B, and C.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Vice Chair Blair to accept these items. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gochner,
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Councilmember Van Heuser,
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks,
Aye.
Vice Chair Blair,
Aye.
Chair Garner.
Aye. Next on the agenda is the old business 21st Street Corridor Plan, which was tabled from January 24th, 2012. Administration, I think Mr. Montgomery is going to present.
And just as an overview, a few weeks ago, you had looked at this item and we had presented to you some options. We had discussed the fact that we did not have the visuals we wanted to have to talk about the height, which was one of the issues in the area between 20th and 21st Street, west of Wall Avenue. And we felt that we could have them done within 2 weeks. We found out as we've been going through this that computers are a wonderful thing sometimes, but if you try to make them do things they don't want to do, we have problems with that. So we did not have the information we wanted to present to you in time for this agenda. We do know that at the last meeting, there were comments about one item, that was the zoning options for the property near the pond. And we did take that into account, and we will, when we come back with the revisions, give that as an option of commercial also in addition to the CRCs. So we have taken note of that request, but we do not have the presentation put together that we wanted to help you make a decision on the height issue. And so, you know, that's one of those things like we feel embarrassed about this because of the noticing that took place, but we do not have that ready yet. And so our recommendation to Unite is to take any additional public input that we can add to the report, such as we had the one that was I mentioned, the commercial zoning as an option. So we'll add that to the report, but any other public comments you may wish to take tonight that we can also add to get into this final document. So that's where we're at. We're asking it to be continued.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Montgomery? Okay, thank you. So at this time, we did ask for public input on this item, so if there is anybody who would like to come up at this time, please come up and state your name, and we'll get your concerns. And welcome back.
Oh, sorry for the
Fine,
public
I thought that was a
recording.
bigger one.
Sorry.
Chairman, council members, I just want to make sure that I understand correctly what Mr. Montgomery said, that the property that I talked about last meeting is being considered for just commercial. It is not going to go recreational commercial. Now, my understanding, I know it has to be approved, but is he changing his plan to do that?
We'll address that in just a moment for you.
Oh,
But my
thank you.
understanding is that we are looking at both the commercial and the CRC as an option, as he mentioned.
CRC, is that the commercial recreational? Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay. Any other comments from the public?
If there's no further discussion, I would make the motion that we table this item to July 10th, 2012.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Van Huser to table this to July 10th. All in favor?
Aye.
Or, excuse me, does this have to be a roll call vote?
No.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Okay, this is an opportunity now for public comments. This is an opportunity to address the council regarding your concerns or ideas. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. In this form of government, all city personnel are the responsibility of the administration, not of the council, and please discuss any concerns you may have regarding staff with the mayor, chief administrative officer, or department directors. Do we have any public comments? Okay, comments from administration,
I have none at this time.
council staff,
Nothing tonight, thank you.
and council members.
I have a comment, if I'm allowed, please. I attended a very special birthday party on Tuesday at the Harrison Regent. We have a member of our community named Kathleen Jenkins, and she turned 103 years old. She was born in 1909 in Caldwell, England, and she immigrated to the United States in 1929. And because they took the train west, they ended up in Ogden, and I think that's pretty telling of our community at that particular time. I think the council would like to wish her happy birthday, and it was a really nice event. The other thing is, I was lucky enough to be a volunteer at Sundance, and we had over 9,000 people at the Sundance for that whole event. And I think that's remarkable for Ogden, and it's a wonderful event that I think everybody should take in if they can.
We have the best venue.
We have the very best venue, yeah. The second largest, but the very best, really.
Best music.
Yeah.
Okay, any further comments? Next on the agenda is motion to move into a closed executive session. Mr. Williams.
Chair, a closed executive session is permissible for the purposes set forth in the agenda.
Okay. This is a roll call vote to adjourn into a closed executive session.
So you need a motion?
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn into a closed executive session.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Wicks. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Councilmember Van Huser,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks,
Aye.
Vice Chair Blair,
Aye.
Aye. As a reminder, we will have new business following the closed executive session of appointment of Management Services Director and Utilities Rate Study Schedule. And then after that, we'll adjourn into a work session. Good evening and welcome back to our city council meeting following our closed executive session. Let the roll call reflect that all council members are present. And now we'll have the next item on the agenda is new business, and this is the appointment of a management services director. Mr.
Thank you,
Johnson.
thank you, Chair. Since this was my former position for 8 years, the mayor allowed me the opportunity to represent us. The management services position has traditionally been in our city kind of the assistant CAO position. It's really an important position because of the money and because of the other responsibilities. We did a search out in the community. We opened it up. We received 51 applications for the position, and after sifting through that and through many interviews, we have selected and offered the position to Anthony Reynolds, more commonly known as Tony. And Tony is currently working as Economic Development Director out at Royce City. We think Tony will bring a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, some dignity to the position. He'll represent Ogden well in the many areas that the Management Service Director serves. We're delighted to have him here tonight, and we're delighted to present him to you for your advice and consent for him to serve as the Management Services Director.
With that, I guess I would just make the motion that we approve the appointment of Tony Reynolds as the Management Services Director.
I'll
Second it.
I think we'd all second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Wicks to appoint Tony Reynolds as the Management Services Director. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Gochner,
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens,
It's a pleasure to say aye.
Councilmember Wicks,
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier,
Aye.
Councilmember Heyer,
Aye.
Vice Chair Blair,
Aye.
Chair Garner.
Aye. And this appointment passes.
Welcome, by the way.
When I became Management Services Director, I had to speak.
Oh, did you?
That would be most appropriate, Mr. Chair. Normally you allow,
Yes, I was just going to say, Tony, if you would like to come up and just share a few thoughts, and we welcome you on board.
I'm a little disappointed about his reference to dignity. I think that was a dig at my gray hair. I think that's what he was looking for. Well, thank you very much, Council. I'm very much looking forward to working with you and doing what I can to help Ogden move along. Thank you very much.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're sure he will hit the ground running.
And I'd just like to thank Sean Choate for filling in and
Doing a
taking
wonderful
care of
job.
things in the interim. She did a great job, so thank you.
Yeah, Sean and John both
And John,
filled in,
yes,
and
John did for a while.
they're still friends, and they sit by each other, so that's a good sign.
So thank you both very much. Okay, next on the agenda is the utility rate study schedule amendment.
Mr. Symes is going to offer a
Time.
brief overview.
Thank you. What we have included in your packet is a new resolution to update the previous resolution that was passed in November by the council. Administration had proposed some new water rates or some changes to the water rate schedule. In response to that proposal, the council passed a resolution that outlined the timeline and some parameters for a new rate study. In the resolution, it included the review of the financial audit, the CAFR, and the CIP. And the timeline included in that had a completion date for the study of the first part of April, and then implementation for any new rate structure to be the 1st of May. And the reason for that was we wanted any new structure to be in place for the outdoor watering season. At the time, we weren't aware that a culinary water master plan and a stormwater master plan were in the works. Those were submitted and reviewed by the Planning Commission, I think just last week. And they're getting ready to be transmitted to the council for the council's review. These are two plans that we really want to incorporate into the review of the utility rate study. We think they'd be very helpful in understanding the state of the infrastructure in the city and helping to guide the study. So in incorporating those into the study process, it adds some extra time because they are pretty significant master plans to review. So we've proposed a new schedule that we've put in the resolution. It pushes the date for completion back about 3 weeks to April 24th. And because there is a little bit of a time delay that's needed for any new rates to go into effect, the new implementation date would be June 1st instead of May 1st. So we do understand this cuts into the outdoor watering season a little bit, but we definitely think it's worth it to get those two plans into the study process. Any questions?
As far as the billing goes, is this able to be retroactively billed a little bit?
We could look at that. We haven't talked about that. We have talked a little bit about some of the issues with trying to go back and review that. I think it may be difficult to do that, but we can certainly explore that.
I just know when I get my water bill, it's from the month prior, and maybe that's all you got to do is just worry about it that way. If it can be just billed on the bill that's coming out.
Sure. Any comment on that, Mr. Cook?
Yeah, I think that would be very difficult from a billing standpoint to accomplish. Typically, an ordinance is effective on a certain date, and then after that point, the new fees go into effect. So I would suggest if the council wants us to look at it, we can. I think it would be difficult to implement.
Chair, if I can make a comment, I think it's impossible for us to do. I think I could be stronger. I also think the watering season traditionally doesn't start till May or June. And if we have any kind of normal spring at all, and we haven't had a normal anything for about 2 years now, but if we have any kind of normal spring, I just don't feel that the usage will go up that much before we have a chance to put these rates into place.
I think
you may create more problems than you'd solve by trying to go make it retroactive.
The amount of sedatives we would have to buy for the water department would not be worth it.
And I agree with Mr. Cook. If we make it effective June 1st, then that's the date that goes forward for the public.
it's only extending it three weeks, so. And I believe the information that they have for the study, the two master plans, is going to be very viable for us to consider in developing that type of a plan.
If there's no further discussion, then I would make a motion that we adopt the revised amendment.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Councilmember Gochner and a second from Councilmember Van Hoosier to adopt this motion. This is a roll call vote.
Councilmember Heyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Stevens.
Aye.
Councilmember Van Hoosier.
Aye.
Councilmember Wicks.
Aye.
Councilmember Gochner.
Aye.
Vice Chair Blair.
Aye.
Chair Garner.
Aye. And that's all the items on our agenda for City Council. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion from Councilmember Wicks and a second from Councilmember Heyer to adjourn the City Council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
This is a reminder that the council work session will be held immediately following the City Council meeting, and the purpose of the work session is to discuss the fiscal year 2011 carry-forward budget adjustments, the animal ordinance, and the council business. Thank you.